What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in this video, I'm going to share with you my top 5 essentials that I must have, me personally, that I take on every cruise. And I'll also throw in some notable mentions. But the real reason for me making this video is because I really looked up and I said to myself, whoa, I got 6 cruises over the next 7 months. And in fact, I actually leave for a cruise in 2 weeks, a back-to-back on Mariner out of Galveston that goes through September through October. And in the comments, I'm going to pin in the first comment all of the sales days that I have over these next 7 months. So if you're on the sailing with me, give me a shout out. If you see me, say what's up. Don't be shy, even though I might be vlogging. And also in the description below will be a link to all of the links that you'll see from the items that I'm going to mention. But nevertheless, let's get into it. Now, the first item up on this list is a power converter. Now, why do I say this versus an adapter where you can have multiple power outlets? Me personally, if you're on a newer cruise, you really don't have a need for a power adapter because there's more outlets and USB things and things like that. But for an older ship, you may need an adapter. And why do I say that? You're on an older ship, you're generally going to get 2. And with one of these adapters, you're going to get 2 power outlets and a USB adapter along with it, which means you get 4 and a USB adapter. Now, if you're bringing in a laptop and you're trying to charge that, usually you could charge your phone through your laptop, which is why I like to have a converter rather than a power adapter. Also, this is more versatile for the people who actually do more land-based travel and you, let's say, want to go to any other part of the world that don't use the power outlets that we do here in the US. This will save you a lot. And ultimately, this will be the only thing that you will need to use. And those power adapters are not very versatile. So that's the reason why this is on the list and not a power adapter where you get like 4 or 5 extra, whatever. Next up on the list, the Brita water filter. Now, my mom actually got me one of these for a back-to-back that I had on Freedom earlier this year. And before that, I had brought on the cases of water, the little 12 that they offer that you're allowed to bring per stateroom. And this was a game changer for me because that experience of lugging on a case of 12 for water, I didn't like it. I ended up having to bust the waters down and then put them in the bag. And it was just a big debacle at the cruise port. Someone was telling me one thing, then someone told me another. And ultimately, it was just annoying. And this is much better option for a few reasons. One, it's much lighter. It takes up much less space, much less cumbersome. You just put this in your bag and you're good to go. The cases of water, it's annoying. 2, you can easily just refill this. In the cruise cabins and the cruise ships, they'll tell you all the water is filtered where you can drink it right out of the tap. Now, of course, most people don't do this because one, either it's a few things. They don't trust it, and then they don't drink the water out of the tap at their home. So it makes sense. But in reality, yes, you can. And if you don't trust it, hey, just fill up the stuff out of your cabin into this water bottle and you'll be good to go. And I know if you've been on any cruise, you'll know that they'll have signs like, hey, don't refill stuff here at either the water fountains or in the windjammer or whatever. Yeah, so that's the reason why I have this. Also, the third reason why is primo to bring this. If you're one of those people that instead of bringing a case of water or having to choose between bringing a case of water on or bringing on juice or soda, this will eliminate all of that because you have water at your disposal and you could bring all of the soda that you want. You could bring your favorite soda or juice and not even have to worry about like, man, I have to sacrifice that. Like which one is more of a level, which one has a higher level of importance. Get you one of these Brita water filters. Next item up is these luggage tags. These things will save your life when it comes to cruising because I will tell you this, once you get checked in and they actually send you the things to print out for your luggage tags, I'm telling you what, this is annoying to have to fold this and then crease it perfectly and then staple it. And in the comments below, let me know, do you actually keep a stapler at your house? I know I don't. So me just having these luggage tags is great. You just literally just cut, fold, and insert them in there. You don't have to worry about them potentially getting ripped off because again, if you don't use luggage tags and you just use just the paper itself and fold it, yeah, it's a lot of paper and it's thick, but there's a lot of room for error, especially if it's maybe raining and you're in transport that way, or let's just say it just rips off some way, somehow, because again, it's just a staple. But you got this thing here where you have this wired, like metal wired thing, and then this thing, it screws on to where it locks it in place that way. Then you get the plastic, it snaps, and then you get the all this stuff. Get you some luggage tags. These things will save your life, and it will make your life a lot easier as far as like transporting your luggage and people actually being able to see and you just taking the stuff off, et cetera, et cetera. Next item, Downy Wrinkle Release. Now look, the link, I'll actually leave two links in the description. One for the travel size for my people who are actually traveling on planes, and then I will leave this one for the bigger size for the people who are the land-based travelers to the cruise port, because I live here in Dallas. Galveston's like 4 hours down the road, and we generally drive down to Galveston. But this Downy Wrinkle Release, it will save your life. You don't want to spend a lot of money doing the press and fold service on these cruise ships. That can run up a bill versus you paying $10 or less for Downy Wrinkle Release. You do a little spray, tug, let it hang, and your cruise or your clothes will be perfect. Now, my recommendation is, because I learned this over the last few cruises that I did, was I would use it right before I actually need to wear the clothes. And what will happen sometimes is you'll spray, tug, and then you put the clothes on and your clothes are kind of damp and they're kind of cold. I would say smart thing to do is maybe on the first, second day, take out everything that you know you're going to wear, spray, tug, just let it hang in the closet. Or some people, what they'll do is they'll just let their clothes hang in the closet, and maybe the wrinkles will just fall out that way naturally, and maybe you don't need wrinkle release. But ultimately you do need wrinkle release, because I don't care how well you fold and how well you pre-packed and blah blah blah, you're gonna have some wrinkles in there, and this stuff will save your life. Trust me on that. Now this next item, the lanyards. You'll see people on the cruise ship wearing lanyards where they have their room key in there, but this lanyard is more for when you're out at port, whether you're on an excursion or just out in the port in general. They're waterproof. You can put your items in there, put money as well as your phone. And these, you could actually use your phone while it's in the pouch and maybe take some pictures or videos, etc. It's in the text message, but also it keeps your things safe. Now, when I usually wear this, I usually tuck it into my shirt, and I'll keep it that way. So that way I'm not having a lanyard hanging out and people can see that, oh, this guy got like a bunch of $20 bills in there. And then he's got, this and his credit cards in there and blah, blah, blah. And it's easy to take that way. But this will keep you safe, especially when you're on those excursions where maybe you're on the beach or maybe you're getting in and out of the water. You don't have to think like, oh, snap. Because how many of you have dealt with that anxiety where before you jump into a pool and jump into some water, you're like, you clutch to your pockets to make sure your phone's not in there? That's the last thing you want to do on vacation, is ruin your cell phone. So get you a lanyard. This is like a must for any cruiser. Now we get into the notable mentions. Now this is not something that I personally bring. I don't advocate for this. I don't recommend people do it, but people do it. The cruise magnets. Now, the reason why I don't like the cruise magnets is, me personally, I think they make your room look tackier. The staterooms, they're small enough, and in some cases, they're not pretty enough. Why make it even uglier with cruise magnets all over your wall, and you're hanging a hat, you're hanging jewelry, you're hanging wet clothes, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I can understand the wet clothes because, hey, it is what it is. But if you need the cruise hooks, they're really here. They work really well because all of the walls in the cruise ship, they're magnetic. So you could just place them there, hang whatever you may need. I would say just use some decorum when using these things. Don't be very tacky because, again, like I say, your stateroom is small. And that's why they have different levels of staterooms, like suites and things like this, and ultra spacious this and blah, blah, blah. For people that, if you need more space, yeah. But in some cases, people can't spend out the coin for those types of rooms. This is why you have the cruise ship magnets. But again, these cruise ships, they do have a lot of space. It's just, I'm not a big advocate of bringing tons of stuff on a cruise ship and really having to like unload. But if you do feel the need to, get yourself some cruise magnets. Next item on the list are towel clips. Now, a lot of people use these when on the cruise deck, or maybe they take them out to the port. Me personally, I've never used these. Little sidebar, I've actually never been in a pool on a cruise ship. I'm going to change that soon. I'm going to do a video where I do a bunch of stuff that I've never done on a cruise, because there's a lot of stuff that people commonly do on cruises that I don't do. And being in the pool is not one of them, because if you haven't noticed and don't adjust your screens, I'm black. I have no reason to be up on the pool deck tanning. And the pools on the cruise ship, for me, they're not that fun to be using. If it were like a big pool, like you would say, let's say an Oasis Lagoon at Coco, or some sort of resort style pool, yeah, maybe I would patron it and have a little fun and frolic around in the water, but that's not the case for me. So towel clips, I know a lot of people use them. Again, towel clips, link in the description. Now this item is for my travelers that are traveling by plane to the cruise port. Now, why do I put this in here? This is because on a cruise ship, there's no weight limit as far as your luggage. There's no weight limit, or there's no limit to how many pieces of luggage. Somewhat. There have been cases of where people have been stopped from bringing too many pieces of luggage, but there's no weight limit. You could bring on 100-pound piece of luggage onto a cruise ship. Now, the same can be said about an airplane. Yes, you can, but you are going to pay. For those people who don't want to pay and keep their luggage under 50 pounds, or if you're flying Spirit, I think it's like 39 or whatever weird weight limit that they have, or whichever airline that you're using, this thing is a savior. I've used this thing and this saved me so much. I used this when I went to Turkey. I used this when I went to Freedom out of Miami. And the person who was checking the bags, they were like, man, you got this spot on. And I was like, yeah, I didn't tell them what I use, but I use this. Now, commonly what a lot of people use is they'll use a body weight scale. They'll weigh themselves. Then they'll hold their luggage, and then while weighing themselves, and they'll do the little math calculation, subtraction. Don't have to do all that when you have one of these. You just clip it to the handle. You turn it on, pull it up, boom, make your little adjustments, and you're good to go. This thing is a lifesaver. I love this thing, and I highly recommend it if you're a traveler. In general, really just a traveler, not just a cruiser, but especially if you have to travel by plane to your cruise, definitely. Because on the cruise, what'll happen is you may pack, let's say 50 pounds, and you might pack to that limit like an idiot. And then what'll happen is when you're on vacation, typically you bring more stuff back than what you left with. But if you fail to do that calculation, yeah, this will save you. But remember that though, if you are traveling to a cruise port, if the weight limit is 50 pounds, don't pack 50 pounds, pack like 45, because you know you're probably going to bring stuff back. So that's why I say you need one of these digital hanging scales. Lastly, on the notable mentions is air tags. I don't think there's any real reason why I need to explain why you would need air tags. It's pretty self-explanatory why people use air tags. This actually came in handy for me when I was at London Heathrow Airport, and they left my luggage there, and I'm like, what? And I was able to actually see that, yes, my luggage is still at London Heathrow Airport. Okay, and the next day, okay, yeah, it's still at London Heathrow Airport. Oh, it's still in the same location. Okay, now it's moving. Okay, now it's interesting. Yeah, Apple AirTags. These things will save your life. And that's my top 5 cruise essentials. Let me know yours in the comments below. Did I miss out on anything? What are your top 5 cruise essentials in the comments below? Please let me know. I'm curious to know, because maybe I might learn a thing or two. Maybe I might have to add something to my bag of tricks. But again, I like to keep it simple. But I got to get out of here, because in 2 weeks, I got to get ready for these cruises. So I got to start getting packing, buddy. But if I see you on one of these sailings, just give me a shout in the comments below. Let me know some of the sailings that you guys have coming up. I'm curious to know what ships you guys and sailings that you guys have going on. I'll see you guys in the next one.